Hey, what's up guys, Up here. So today we're going to be going over some good old-fashioned gatekeeping drama involving the franchise Uma Musume. Now, thanks to the recent English release of its gacha game, a lot of people on Twitter who literally discovered this franchise 2 months ago are now screaming and crying about tourists who are invading their favorite franchise, including some content creators who started playing this on stream, and that has upset these very loyal fans who, like I said, discovered this game like 2 months ago, and they're trying their best to gatekeep these content creators and their fans, and of course, those efforts are failing. So before we get into all of that related drama, you might be asking, what is Uma Musume, or its English name, Pretty Derby? It is a franchise where the characters are based on real-life racehorses, and there's a lot of components to this, like I said, but an English release of their gacha game that was originally released in 2021 just came out at the end of June, and as you can see, one of the places you can get it is on Steam, and you can see the game. I mean, it's gorgeous, just like every other aspect of this franchise. Personally, yes, I am a tourist. I have not played the gacha game yet, but I have seen the anime, and that was so long ago that my reaction in terms of content for that was making memes for YouTube. That's how long ago it was. I was still a meme channel. I hadn't even made my first commentary video yet, and if you were around for that time, you deserve a veteran's discount, because that was a very long time ago. But the anime was very successful, but the biggest component of this franchise is the gacha game. Like I said, released in 2021, and right now, it has surpassed $2.5 billion in sales in Japan alone. In one country, they did $2.5 billion on this gacha game. It's absolutely insane. So when the English release finally came out a few weeks ago, the numbers are crazy. And it's not too surprising. There's a lot of excitement for this release. You can see right now, in the middle of the afternoon, nearly 50,000 in-game players. It's doing really well. However, introducing a lot of new people to this franchise, there's a lot to learn. And this is something I also covered many years ago. People are now trying to share some of the sort of community guidelines, the official guidelines provided by the company who is responsible for this franchise. And one thing they pretty much 100% do not allow, or they say they don't allow, is any 18 plus artwork of the characters. In fact, you can see the fan created content guidelines. Works of violent, sexual, or otherwise obscene nature are not allowed. And you can also see they advocate, or they prohibit anything that advocates or criticizes political views, which I hope they enforce that one, because on the wrong side of Twitter, I can already see the artwork where they have the characters saying whatever political slop that they want to push as a part of their agenda, because they want likes on Twitter and they want validation from fictional characters for their political beliefs. But anyways, this has always been a very contentious thing, and this meme is something I covered many years ago, where they talked to an artist saying this illustration violates the Uma Musume guidelines. I will report it to Pixiv. And the artist says, I do not live in Japan, so the threat of Yakuza means nothing to me. The right to sexy horses is a human right. I must contribute. What is this, Vosh? And then we get another here saying, please refer to the official announcement from Psy Games about fan art production. And the artist says, refer to my junk in regards to how these horses make me feel. And people have been trying the best they can to say respect the guidelines. They share the community guidelines that people are supposed to be following. But dude, as part of researching for this video, I typed in Uma Musume on Twitter. Yeah, people aren't listening. It's just littered with sexual artwork of these characters. Clearly no one's listening, and how that's going to pan out in the future, because now we have this Western side that's not respecting the rules, we'll have to wait and see. But as I mentioned earlier in the video, some popular content creators have been playing this game. They discovered it recently because of the English release. One of those people includes Asmongold, and it seems really apparent that he enjoys the game, and his community really enjoys the game. You can see the reaction on his YouTube video, the first one he made about this game. Overwhelmingly positive reception, and a lot of new people being introduced to this franchise. Isn't that a good thing? People having fun and spreading this franchise to a new audience? Well, it goes well on YouTube, but in the hellscape that is Twitter, they were furious. In fact, I talked about this briefly on the alt channel, but there was this post that went viral with 18,000 likes saying, wrap it up, fun's over, because a content creator they don't like dared to play a franchise that they enjoy, and it ruined it for them. I think there's nothing softer than someone who will literally be distraught if a content creator or someone they don't like plays a game that they personally enjoy. Like, that is the softest thing. Like, are you really a fan if you're letting that ruin it for you? But anyways, this person was just fuming. Someone saying stop overreacting. They say, no, I'm allowed to get upset when one of the most hateful, heartless individuals on the planet promotes a game to his just as hateful and heartless fan base. Yeah, step aside, dictators, murderers, all those people. The worst guy in the world is, of course, Asmongold. Yeah, these people need some help. Now, from one bald man to another bald man, we're going to talk about Tectone. He's kind of the main focus of this video because people are really upset at him. Now, he made this tweet saying, what am I getting myself into? Showing him downloading Uma Musume. And as you can see in this comment, not too sure, but you can probably expect a bunch of idiots or two on Twitter to rage because you played this. Exactly right. So let's see some of those quotes. This one getting 17,000 likes, saying, the bad thing about Uma blowing is the KKK getting into it. Now, here's the thing. If you're going to falsely accuse someone of something outrageous like this, can you at least have proper grammar in your sentence? I know you're trying to say blowing up. It's just lazy. Wouldn't you put more time and effort into a tweet saying something as heinous as this? And also, I noticed the notes here, the proposed notes. So someone says, Tectone has no involvement with the KKK. Correct. But then you have someone in the no note needed section disputing that, saying comedy is legal on X. Community note here to explain the joke. It is clearly poking fun at him being a large right-wing grifter, and this user is exaggerating Tectone's political alignment to something more extreme for the sake of humor. Yeah, this is someone who should not have access to these notes because clearly it's opinionated. They're fuming about what they're interpreting as his political beliefs. Yeah, not a great look for the note system. But, of course, people would be in the reply saying, it's time to gatekeep and drive people out. And the original poster says, true. Now, what are these people going to do about it? Are you going to actually scare away people like Tectone, Asmongold, and their communities? What are you going to do about it? These people have a panic attack if they have to talk to the cashier at the grocery store when they're checking out. And here's the best part about these people saying, let's gatekeep. These people are tourists. They say that in other tweets about people who are engaging with the franchise after the English release. Just look at this person. As pointed out here, their first tweet about Uma Musume was 2 months ago. So the person who just discovered this franchise 2 months ago is going to try and dictate who's allowed in the community and who's not, to the point where they're trying to drive out content creators like Tectone and their community. And you can see when they're pressed, right? Someone says, what did Tectone do? I'm confused. And this is always a great thing to ask. When people make these wild accusations on social media, either just ask them for proof or what happened. And this is their answer. Harassed a teen, some kind of lesphobic stuff, and general toxicity. Can't name too many specific examples right now. Because of course you can't. This is what they do, right? They say, oh, there's so many things that I just can't even name a single one directly. It's overwhelming. I can't even point to a specific example whatsoever. But they still feel comfortable enough to call him a KKK member, which is insane. And with people like this, they create a caricature of people like Tectone. They create this boogeyman in their mind of what he's like because they've probably only been exposed to him through slanderous tweets attacking him, and they just kind of take those, believe them, and now, well, this is the proof of their entire reasoning behind why he's a KKK member. Absolutely insane. And of course, they would start getting bodied. People are laughing at someone as fragile as this. But they say, smugly, hit tweet. If you defend Tectone, you are not welcome in our community. Yeah, thanks for being the orbiter of who's allowed in Uma Musume. And then after getting dunked on more, they say the classic line, muting this, because they can't handle people talking back. Every time someone says this, I will tell you, they did not mute this. Also, this is not an airport. You don't have to announce your departure. If you're going to mute a tweet, just mute it and move on. But anyways, here's some other quotes on Tectone's post saying, if Tectone tries to join another fandom for a game I'm into, I'll effing gaymen myself. That seems like a bit of a harsh reaction. It's something that's so emotionally unstable that you would gaymen yourself because a person you don't like plays the same franchise you enjoy. Seems like some pretty unhinged behavior. But here's another one saying, I don't think cis hetero men should be allowed to play Uma Musume. Yes, that's a totally rational and normal take. They're really gatekeeping hard by pretty much ousting a large portion of the people who might play. This is the kind of slop you always see. Like, this is the safe, edgy stuff to say. Say this about any other group of people, you're getting canceled. But in this case, it's fine because, well, they're targeting straight people and men. But we know that. And here's another tweet that might make sense if you look at the last one. They say this: if a rivalry lasts longer than 4 years, then you are no longer just rivals, you are gay. Oh, of course. A classic Twitter move where they see a friendship or a rivalry and they think to themselves, this must be sexual. Yeah, not a very well-adjusted thing to think, and people are clowning on this too, saying how could they be gay when they're both carrying my children? But this person would get upset too and say, my mentions right now. I can't wait for Lolicon Twitter to get into Uma Musume and then start calling the lesbians tourists, even though they were the first. I got news for you. The people on Twitter falling into these categories, they were not the ones who were there first. I believe that was the Japanese. Yes, the ones that, were the original intended audience of this game. But whatever helps you sleep at night. And also, man, isn't that so terrible that the gigantically successful global franchise is now being visited by people you don't like? That's crazy. You even have places like this, normies like Dexerto, posting every 2 minutes about Uma Musume because it's that mainstream right now, especially on the English side of Twitter. But anyways, this whole thing is pretty funny. The English release has brought out the worst in people, and it's just very entertaining to see happen. But for now, that's going to do for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.